My name is Irrfan,
Yes.
and I was born in India, and I'm an actor.
Yes.
I wanted to. I don't know why I chose to become an actor, uh, but I wanted to do something in my life where I could connect to people. Because I remember in my childhood I had a dream to become a sportsman, but then there were certain reasons I couldn't become a sportsman. So the other thing which came into my mind was become an actor, and I became actor. So now I'm an actor.
How do you manage between Hollywood and Bollywood?
That's not a question. That really not a difficult thing to manage, because you, as an actor, you are looking for different grounds, different uh, audience and different directors, because different directors give you different conditions to deal with the story, and that's something very very important for an actor. If I keep working with a similar kind of director, I I won't be able to feel challenged after a point. So when a different director comes, he looks at the story in a different way, and then you get different kind of challenge to deal a story and to deal a character. So that's something very very interesting for me, and I would like to keep doing that. And it's not, you know, if you become comfortable in your own zone, if you find a comfort zone, then it becomes a difficult thing for you to come out of that zone. So for me, it's not like that. I don't want to get into a comfort zone. I want to, yeah, I want to deal with different directors.
It's okay. Still running.
Sorry.
Is that for the same reason that you play in both Bollywood mainstream movies and more authoric movies
Yeah,
from
yeah.
other regions of India? Is it
Not
to-
other regions of India. I haven't done too many films,
Okay.
but Hindi films and then Hollywood films I have done. And these two films, Lunchbox and Kissa, these are the new kind of model of filmmaking. Like a different, we haven't done earlier this kind of thing where producers from different country coming together and making a film, believing in that story and making a film. Like Kissa had Dutch producer, German producer, French producer, and Indian producer. Lunchbox had American producer, German producer, French producer, and Indian producer. So it was like a collaboration. So this is the first time which was happening, and for me, uh, uh, I'll be able to connect to a different audience completely, which would be European audience. So for me, it's a very interesting.
And do you think that popular Indian cinema has a future in Occident, particularly in non-Anglophone countries like France, for example? Do you want to reach this audience?
You
yourself?
you mean to say the Indian commercial cinema?
Yeah.
Uh, the Indian mainstream cinema is has, they have enough audience. They don't need to look for more audience, and they're not looking for more audience. They have enough audience in India and abroad as well, which is NRI, and so they keep working on the similar kind of formula, and it's just a huge large audience, and they're growing. They are growing on its own. In India, every year it's like a 20 to 30% jump in the audience. So this industry is growing very fast in India.
What is your best film for yourself, and what are the reasons that you like very much this film?
It's very difficult to say
Yeah.
the best film.
Sorry for the question.
There are films which you like. There was Makbul, Namesake, Warrior. Warrior was the film which kind of gave me birth. It started my film journey. And there was Hasil. There was recently I did a film which was very very dear to me, and it's called Pan Singh Tomar, which is based on a real life character, and Lunchbox, and
Lunchbox.
there are many films. There was a series I did in Hollywood which was called In Treatment, and there was a great experience. And Namesake was very interesting film for me. There are many films, I cannot really pick one film. Life of Pi is another film which
Yes, of course.
gave me completely different experiences
It was
than
a
actor.
great success in
Yeah.
France. A great
Yeah?
success, oh yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, it was a very great success.
Okay.
And I think Lunchbox, that was so during the festival, will have a great audience because myself and our friends, we love a lot about this movie.
See, that's what interesting thing. What I'm trying to seek through, this Indian cinema. If you could make films which could travel, which will connect to universal audience, and that's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm trying to connect, to do films which can connect to not just Indian audience, not just American audience, universal audience, like the way Life of Pi did, the way I think Slumdog did, the way uh, Lunchbox is doing now, and Lunchbox is purely Indian film, So that's something very exciting for me.
Yes, it's a feel-good movie.
It's a feel good movie. Yes, sure.
Yes.
It's a feel good movie. It makes you feel good about, and it also kind of reminds you of something which you might forget. A sense of romance. A sense of finding a soulmate.
Humanist, humanist
Yeah.
movie.
You want to
A
connect to
lot.
someone deeply.
And
You want to-
delicatesse, I don't know the word in English, a lot of delicatesse.
Would you like?
Sorry, please.
Thank you. Would you like to shoot another movie with Ritesh Batra?
Oh yes, it depends on the story, and I would love to work with him. I enjoyed working with him, and it's a kind of very. He's a very gentle soul. He has a kind of innocence in him, which is very endearing, and I would love to work with him, again and again. And I've been very fortunate to work with directors. Like there are a few directors I want to work again. Asif Kapadia, Ang Lee, and Danny Boyle. There's Sigmanshu Dhulia, Vishal Bhardwaj, Anurag Basu in India. There are a few directors I would love to work again and again. And definitely Ritesh Batra. I'm looking forward what he writes next, and will I have a part in that? I'm not sure. But if he writes a part for me, I would love to.
Since we are talking about directors you want to work with, which directors you haven't worked with yet do you want to do a movie with?
There are thousands of them.
A few names, please. Maybe you have like a top 3 or something.
I would love to work with Truffaut.
Oh, but he's there.
A bit complicated, but
My favorite director was I can't just bring it down to 3. It's a long list.
Yes. It's a bad question.
And
You play.
let you say.
You play quite often in first movie, from The Warrior to Road to Ladakh and The Lunchbox, and it seems that you unlock to young directors. How do you choose these first movies? And do you want to shoot your first film too? Questions.
Me as a director, you mean?
Yes.
Yes.
See, it's a very interesting observation what you've made. It was not a very conscious decision for me that I have to work with first-time director, but somehow it was like I did a film and which was coincidentally was their first film. Like with Vishal Bharadwaj for almost first film, Tigbanshu Dhulia first film, Hasil, and with Vishal it was Makbul, with Asif it was Warrior, and with Ritesh Batra it was Lunchbox, There are, and I've been very fortunate with working with these directors with in films which became their best film. Like it's supposed to be the highlight of their career. So I haven't designed this. I was just fortunate that I got the part in those films which were supposed to be their best film.
Like,
And I don't know when I'll direct film, because I don't think I'm ready to direct, because I don't know how to write, and I sometimes feel frustrated and helpless because I didn't give enough time in understanding the film writing. If I have had the capability to write my own subject, I would have been directing films than acting right now, because it's a very interesting time in Indian film industry to tell your own stories, because the audience is ready. Audience is really eager, and they're expectant to hear different stories, to see different narratives. So I don't know when will I learn writing, and when will I get the subject where I won't be able to. I'll be compelled to translate it into film. So I'll wait for that opportunity.
Is a France important platform for the Indian cinema, or
See,
little niche?
France, yeah, France. I think France has too many options for entertainment. Cinema is not just the one. So we need to make films which can connect to French audience. If we could do that, that would be a great leap as far as our filmmaking is concerned. And I would love to see Indian cinema going all across the world. But we need to find directors who can do that. Ritesh Batra is the one in this generation. For the first time, his film, Indian film, is traveling all over the world. So we need to find more and more directors.
That's right.
But also in France, I think we have a huge diversity of nationalities of films, so it makes like a great offer.
Platter.
And we can choose Indian movies, but also Iranian movies and stuff. So,
Hmm.
but I think like the audience maybe is ready for another kind of Indian movies. I
Right.
think the Lunchbox will decide the
Yeah.
future on Indian movies in France.
Yeah, but for India, Lunchbox is a new film,
yes.
and it could happen only because the Indian film industry is changing, and it's changing, very, very, very fast and drastically. Every week it's changing, and because the audience is growing, and audience is really challenging the filmmakers to come up with different films. So Indian film industry right now is in a very, very good position. That's the only industry which is growing so fast. So we might find directors who can connect to universal audience, and find a market for themselves in Europe and in America, and in different parts of the world. That's what we are really looking forward to.
And what are your plans and your projects at the moment?
I have just completed one mainstream commercial cinema in India, which is called Gunde, which is Yash Raj film, and there are few films which I'm still reading the scripts, and there are five of them which I don't know which one I'll start now. I'll go and see which one is ready to go into the floor.
I think your quality of interpretation, you must have a lot of proposition of movies.
Right. Yes, I have like choices in America or here. I'm also getting some scripts from France, which are kind of finding a collaboration between India and France. But I still need to find a story which could grab me, which could
Yes.
just
Yeah.
engage me, and which doesn't leave me. So I'm really looking forward to a kind of collaboration from between France and India, or a story or a director from France and who's trying to make a film about India or Indian characters, I would love to work with any director who's
Thank you.
Do you think that Kissa could sortir?
Could be released. Could be released.
Could be released in France?
I'm not sure. It's a difficult.
Very, very good.
She wants
strong,
to see the movie
very-
so much.
You've seen it?
I think
She saw the trailer.
The
She wants to
and
watch
I
it.
have very
Moved.
Moved.
by the your character you play and the story about this man
Right.
and the relationship with his daughter, son daughter.
Son, right, right. See, it's a very, very, very serious film, and it talks. It works on a different level. It's a film where you have many layers of stories. There is a story, and there are so many stories underneath it. So it's also dealing things philosophically and culturally, socially. So it's a very interesting film, and the filmmaking is also the storytelling is very 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 unique to Indian film. But the director is coming from a great tradition. He has worked with Manikal and Kumar Shani, and he has developed his own way of looking at things, and his style is very interesting. So and they have a good sales agent with them. So I think sales agent would be able to tell you whether the film is releasing in France or not. But I'm pretty sure that film will have a lot of resonance if it comes here in France. People would definitely connect, and they will have a different opinion about Indian cinema if the film comes here and if the audience watches it.
Thank you very much
Thank
for
Bonjour.
your time. Merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup.